And in response to this question, I would say that physically, I probably take after my dad more than my mum. And I was kind of unaware of this up until a year ago because I recorded a video, and when I was editing it, I added a filter to make me look old. And when I added that filter, I was gobsmacked. I was lost for words. I was speechless. I couldn't believe what I was seeing because I went from the click of a button of seeing myself looking very young, very stylish, very youthful, and it was, oh my God, what is my dad doing there? So when I entered this aging filter, suddenly I saw it, and now I can't unsee it. I saw my dad. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, and welcome back once again to British English Pod, and me, Lewis, and of course, it's Friday, or, well, it's Friday when this is released, because I release every single episode on Fridays at 1 o'clock Brussels time, so let's imagine that you're listening to this or watching this as soon as it comes out, as soon as it is released, because you couldn't wait. You were like, oh my God, it's Friday. I need to listen to another episode of the podcast. Maybe that's the case, or maybe it's Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. It might be any day, who knows? But enough of me talking about random stuff. Yes, this week we have another main topic, and the topic is all about descriptions, in particular, describing people. And during the next 40 minutes, give or take, I'm going to be teaching you lots of different advanced words, adjectives, expressions that can all be used to describe different people's appearance and personality. We'll probably start with personality and then move on to appearance. And as I'm saying that, well, the reason why this is the topic is because, as usual, this has been the topic of the week with the British English Immersion Club, and I've been speaking about this topic all week, and it's been quite an interesting thing to discuss. And during my classes, I didn't realize that I had so much content to teach advanced vocabulary like this. So it has been a pleasant surprise. And there is a link in the description of this video if you want to try the British English Immersion Club for free for 7 days. Then just click on the link and join the club, and you can join one class per week plus the bonus lesson before deciding if you want to continue paying the monthly subscription or not. You know, it's up to you. The ball is in your court. But enough about the club. Let's get straight into the topic. And we'll begin with a little bit of a vocabulary quiz. I'm going to describe different advanced features, and I want you to think what they are called. So number one, these are two holes that you have like around your cheeks that not everybody has them, but when you smile, you have these little holes which are kind of around your cheeks and a little bit lower. What are these holes called? Do you know? I'll give you a clue. It begins with a D. And the correct word is dimples. Dimples. So dimples are the holes that you'll have when you smile. If people have dimples, often they have a nice smile. They look quite cute when they smile. Next word. These are little spots that you have around your nose and also your cheeks. And in particular, they appear when it's sunny and you've been out sunbathing. It's very common for people with pale skin or ginger hair. And they have, beginning with an F, freckles. They have freckles. So freckles, to repeat, are these little things around your nose and cheeks. Freckles. How about number 3? Now, this is not a beard, but it is the type of beard that men might have maybe 2 or 3 days after shaving. You see, I shaved yesterday, so I'm still quite clean shaven. But by tomorrow, I think you will notice that this shadow becomes a little bit prickly. At that point, what is the name of this shadow? It begins with an S. The correct name is stubble. Stubble. So I have stubble after a couple of days after shaving. I have stubble. Now, number 4. This is something that you have kind of here. And in particular, if somebody takes a photo of you and they're taking a photo of you from like below, it's not very flattering. It doesn't flatter your appearance. It doesn't make you look good. You know, where you have these lines here underneath your chin. If anybody is just listening and not watching, then I recommend that you watch now. Because I'm making myself look like I've got a double... Oh, I almost said it. So yes, if you have this fat or skin here, it is known as a double chin. A double chin. It's like, oh no, take the photo from a different angle. You can see my double chin. I'm sure we've all been there. We've all had that experience when somebody takes a photo and it's not very flattering. Flattering, by the way, is a way of saying it doesn't, well, if it is flattering, it makes you look good. So if it isn't flattering, it doesn't make you look good. But anyway, number 5, last one, related to the similar part of your body. This is your throat, and men have this. So when you swallow, you can see this like nut moving up and down. So I have quite a big Adam's apple. I have a big Adam's apple. And that is the thing that you have around your throat that goes up and down as you swallow. So let me know. Did you know any of these advanced words to speak about your appearance and in particular, your face? Because I deliberately chose these ones because they're quite advanced and they're words that not many people actually look up. Not many people actually search the meaning and translation of these words. And that's why I'm here. I did it for you. My pleasure. You're welcome. Now, it's time to get started with more descriptions and more of a conversation. And my first question that I'm going to ask myself is, how would you describe yourself? And this is difficult because I find that most people around the world struggle to describe themselves. They struggle to speak about themselves. Maybe there are some exceptions with certain people from the United States. They like speaking about themselves a lot, don't they? Ha ha ha. I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. But yeah, in particular, British people, we find it hard to describe ourselves, and I'm no different. But here goes nothing. I am relatively tall. I'm about 6 foot tall, which is 182, 183 centimeters. So I'd say I'm tall, but not like freakishly tall. As people can see and comment on, I'm very hairy. So I'm a very, very hairy guy, which is strange because my mum and dad, neither of them are hairy. So I don't know where I got it from. It's a mystery. Maybe my granddad or great granddad or something similar, but who knows? So I'm tall, I'm hairy, I'm a little bit pale, but I do tan a little bit in summer. So I'm not the 100% stereotypical Brit because, yeah, I can tan a little bit. And, well, I have some freckles around my nose, but not many. And, well, sometimes my eyes are almost hidden. They disappear, where this part around my eyebrows, it kind of covers my eyes quite a lot. So sometimes it looks like I'm squinting, especially in the morning. You'll see my face and it's like, Lewis, where are your eyes? Where have they gone? They've disappeared. And, well, I have some wrinkles on my forehead. I have straight hair. It's dark as well, dark brown or black almost. And, well, I'm quite fit. I'm quite athletic, I would say. That I'm not super muscly, but I'm in good shape. I've run marathons before, so you would hope that I'm in good shape as well. But I eat a lot. I have a very big appetite, so I feel like I'm getting a bit chubby at the moment. And a chubby person is someone who is a little bit fat. So I'm growing and developing a bit of a beer belly. You know, the typical stomach belly that usually middle-aged men will have when it looks like they're pregnant. But of course, men can't have babies. They can't be pregnant. But if you see a man, in particular, who is drinking a pint, and his belly is like overlapping his belt, this is a classic example of a beer belly. So I'm hoping that I will never get a beer belly. Fingers crossed, anyway. And that's probably enough about my appearance, and let's move on to my personality. And, well, I don't know if you believe in any horoscopes or any star signs. I personally don't, to be honest. But I am a Libra because my birthday is the 24th of September. Pretty soon, right? And what they say about Libras is that they're very balanced. And I think that's quite true, to be honest, because I'm quite a chilled person. I'm quite an easygoing person. I'm quite relaxed in many regards. And also, I think that I'm a Libra because when good things happen to me, I never get too excited. And when bad things happen to me, I never get too depressed or too down. So I'm always quite balanced. So you could say I'm a Libra. And as I might have mentioned before, I'm a bit of a lazy extrovert. And what I mean by this is that I can be extroverted and I can be confident and sociable, but it often doesn't come naturally. And what I fancy doing after finishing work is just chilling out, staying on my own, kind of doing nothing and just taking it easy, which is something that an introvert would like. Or, as I like to say, a lazy extrovert, because I can be extroverted, but I'm usually not. What else should I tell you about my personality? Well, I'm a bit stingy. Yes, I'm a bit stingy. I don't really like spending too much money. I try to save money as much as I can. But I'd say I'm quite generous at the same time. I'm generous in terms of helping people. I like to give people a hand when they need it. So, yeah, I'm quite helpful. And I think I'm a friendly person. I'm quite nice. I'm quite kind. Because, yeah, I never get angry. And I'm not that grumpy. I'm not that moody. Usually, if you see me, I'll be smiling. Sometimes I'll be laughing, but to be honest, I don't think I'm a very funny guy. I wish I was funnier. I wish I was better at telling jokes, but I can't think of any jokes, and I can't remember any jokes either. So sometimes I can make some funny little comments, but I'm not the best at telling funny stories. Well, I think that's it. That's me, kind of. To summarize, that's my appearance and my personality. But I'd like you to think about yourself. How would you describe yourself? And I know it's complicated. It's much easier said than done. But give it a go to think about describing your physique and describing your personality and ask yourself, are there any adjectives that I'm missing? Are there any adjectives that I would use to describe myself in my mother tongue, but I'm unable to do so when I speak in English? For example, this morning I had a lovely private class with a student, and this student was telling me in Portuguese, like, eu sou teimoso. And at first I wasn't sure what he meant. So I looked it up and I was like, okay, teimoso in English. And it came up with stubborn. Stubborn. And he didn't remember this adjective. And now I've learned a new word in Portuguese, so that's a positive. But a stubborn person is somebody who doesn't want to change their mind. They will make a decision and they want to stick by that decision. They don't want to change their mind. This is a stubborn person. You can also say hard-headed. I'm really hard-headed. I'm really stubborn. But now that I've mentioned stubborn, how about we look at some more advanced adjectives? And, well, before we get on to the adjectives, I'm going to share my screen and we're going to have a look at a dialogue, because I think dialogues are a fantastic way of improving your language skills. Because they're a little bit easier than reading the news or reading a whole book, because it's more interactive and there is less description, which I know is ironic because this class, this podcast, is all related to descriptions, but sometimes descriptions can be too long, and it's more useful to know how to interact and have a dialogue. So that being said, as you can see on the screen, if you're paying attention, we can see the title is Gossiping. And we've got two characters, Kate and John. And Kate and John are, well, having a chat, gossiping about someone else at work. So now I'm going to read it for you. And pay attention. And as you're preparing yourself to listen, and also listen out for any expressions, I'm going to have a little bit of water. All right, Kate is going to begin, and then John. So, there's a new worker in our team. I haven't spoken to her yet or introduced myself. She seems very quiet, shy, and introverted. Maybe she's a lone wolf. That looks like it's the case. But hey, you're a social butterfly. You get on really well with everyone. You should definitely go and introduce yourself. Okay, you got a point. Oh, and by the way, It's my anniversary this weekend, and I'm going to throw a party. Do you want to come? Absolutely. I'd never turn down an invitation like that. I'm a party animal. Ha! You sure are. Anyway, are you going to speak to a new colleague then? You know, given that you're a chatterbox and such a people person. Yeah. Stop being a pain in the neck. I'll speak to her now. So that is the short dialogue. Now, let's just go over some words and phrases from this dialogue. So, at the beginning, we have the expression a lone wolf. Maybe she's a lone wolf. And a lone wolf is somebody who likes to work independently. They are an independent person, a lone wolf. They don't like to work as a team. The next expression is a social butterfly. If you are a social butterfly, it means that you are a very sociable person. You like to fly from person to person, and you like to mingle at a party. Nice verb there, to mingle. If you are mingling, it means you're having small talk with multiple people at a party, going from one couple to another guy to another woman. You are mingling. And after that, we have throw a party. A lot of my students tend to say, we're going to make a party. But no, we don't say make a party in English. You can say have a party, throw a party, or even host a party, but you don't make a party. And on that note, partying, our next expression is a party animal. If you are a party animal, you are the life and soul of the party. You are someone who, well, other people will focus on at a party. And you love going out all night long. All night long. All night. All night long. That is a party animal. And then we have a chatterbox. A chatterbox is, well, a chatty person, a talkative person, a chatterbox. And then last but not least, we have a pain in the neck. Stop being a pain in the neck. Ugh, you're such a pain in the neck. You could also rephrase it and say a pain in the arse. Stop being a pain in the arse. Ugh, an annoying person, basically. Now, tell me about you. Would you describe yourself as a chatterbox? Are you a social butterfly? Are you a party animal? And can you be a pain in the neck sometimes? Or maybe you're a bit of a lone wolf. Let me know in the comments, how would you describe yourself from all of these options? A social butterfly, a lone wolf, and so on. But from there, we're going to keep going. And we're going to go over some of these advanced adjectives. And once again, I've started sharing my screen. Feel free to watch it, or you can just listen. And I'm going to describe different characteristics. All of them are adjectives. And, well, if you know it, say it out loud. Even if you're walking around in the gym listening to this podcast and you know the adjective, scream it out loud. Let everybody hear it. So what is the adjective? That is the name of the game. Number 1, someone who falls a lot. How would you describe someone who falls a lot? Well, you could use the adjective clumsy. So someone who falls a lot is a clumsy person. Number 2, someone who thinks they're the best. how would you describe someone who thinks they are the best? Well, you could say that they are big-headed. An example that comes to mind is that I believe that Cristiano Ronaldo is quite big-headed. He's arrogant, you know? He thinks he's number one. Now, number 3. Someone intelligent in a funny way. Someone intelligent in a funny way. This is a guy who's quick at thinking, quick at responding, and you could say that they are witty. So a witty person is someone who's intelligent and good at making these funny comments in a very intelligent, smart manner. Number 4. This is someone who has no mercy. So what adjective could you use to describe someone who has no mercy? This one's very difficult, but it is ruthless. So a ruthless person is somebody who will show no mercy. Maybe they're very competitive. They want to win at all costs, and they will do it in a ruthless way. Number 5. This one's a little bit easier. Someone who likes going out. What do you call someone who likes going out? Well, we can just change the order. And someone who likes going out and being sociable is, well, outgoing. Duh. Now, number 6. Someone who doesn't change their mind. What would we call someone who doesn't change their mind? Well, I mentioned it earlier. Teimoso. That is in Portuguese, and in English, it is stubborn. Stubborn. If you're stubborn, nobody can convince you to do something else. You're a really stubborn guy. Now, number 7. Someone who is forgetful. Someone who is forgetful. Now, a forgetful person could also be described as absent-minded. Absent-minded. It's a person who's easily distracted. You know, you've got your head in the clouds. You're daydreaming, maybe. You are absent-minded. Now, number 8. Someone who gets angry easily. Ugh, they have a short fuse. Someone who gets angry easily is, well, bad-tempered. Or maybe they're a bit grumpy. Perhaps they're a bit moody. They've got a temper. Now, number 9. Someone who is unfriendly. What adjective could we use to describe an unfriendly person? Well, if you think about the film with Lindsay Lohan and Rachel McAdams from like 20 years ago, and they weren't very friendly. They were mean. And this is the film Mean Girls, of course. Like, don't be mean. That's so mean. Now, number 10. Someone who asks for things or tells jokes in a friendly way. You know, they've got a lot of face, as people might say in Spanish. But in English, we would say cheeky. Don't be so cheeky. He's such a cheeky boy. It means like naughty, but also funny, and a bit rude, perhaps. It's a cheeky person, a cheeky boy, a cheeky girl. Good. Now again, how many of these did you know? How many of them are new? Let me know in the comments. And whilst I'm saying that, well, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel and the podcast, well, please do so now and leave a like. I will love you eternally for it. So thank you so much for reaching this point of the podcast. And yeah, I love you lots. And to reward you for your persistence, I suppose, I told you about the British English Immersion Club earlier, and I said that there is a free trial of 7 days, but not only that. If you enter the coupon code summer discount, then instead of paying €60 forever, you can actually pay €50 forever. So again, if you'd like to join the British English Immersion Club and have fun conversations with me whilst I correct your English and teach you more advanced words and phrases, click the link in the description and enter the code summer discount so you can test out my services and get a discount at the same time. Phew. Lewis, you're so generous. I know, right? Maybe I should have used this adjective as well. I should have said, yes, I'm a very, very generous person. Because, I like giving coupons and I like giving discounts. Because I'm just that kind of guy. Okay, anyway, let's return to appearances. And now I'm going to ask myself some other questions related to appearance. So let me find my PowerPoint, and I'm not going to share this time, but I'm just going to ask the questions and answer them. So my first question here involves a phrasal verb. And the question is as follows. Who do you take after more, your mum or your dad? So who do you take after more, your mum or your dad? And to take after is a nice way of saying to resemble, to look like, or to be like. And in response to this question, I would say that physically, I probably take after my dad more than my mum. And I was kind of unaware of this up until a year ago, because I recorded a video, and when I was editing it, I added a filter to make me look old. And when I added that filter, I was gobsmacked. I was lost for words. I was speechless. I couldn't believe what I was seeing, because I went from the click of a button of seeing myself looking very young, very stylish, very youthful, and it was, oh my God, what is my dad doing there? So when I entered this aging filter, suddenly I saw it, and now I can't unsee it. I saw my dad, and I was like, all of my life, I thought I looked more like my mum. And no, it was a lie. Because with the help of this filter, I saw that I am almost the spitting image of my dad. If you are the spitting image of someone, it means you are a carbon copy of someone. You look really, really similar to someone else. So I saw the light and I told myself, wow, I've taken after my dad so much. So yeah, physically, I take after my dad, but emotionally, mentally, I'd say that I probably take after my mum a little bit more. And well, if you're listening or watching this video, you've probably already seen my mum, and some people say that we look alike as well. And we have a lot of similar values and similar beliefs, similar ideals and principles, but I think that she gets stressed very easily, and she's a worrier. She'll always be worried about other people, not about herself, because she's a very, very selfless person. Whereas, as I said, I'm pretty chilled. I'm pretty laid back. I'm pretty easygoing. So I don't often get anxious. I don't often get stressed. So maybe I don't take after my mum so much. I suppose I'm a combination, a little bit of both. I take after my dad a little bit, and I also take after my mum a little bit. Now, the next question is, do you look like any celebrities? And this is probably a question for you rather than for me. Do you think I look like any celebrities? Do you think I have any celebrity lookalikes? Any celebrity doubles? Now I'm going to tell you a couple of people that people have said I look like. People have said I look like the Spanish footballer Juan Mata. Juan Mata. Let me show you Juan Mata and see if you agree with them or not. Because personally, I don't think I really look like him. Maybe a little bit. Maybe we kind of look similar, but I don't think so much. This is Juan Mata. And people say that I look like him. Personally, I don't really see it. Another person that people said I looked like was Josh Hartnett. And maybe a little bit, but his hair is so much better than mine. And I think he's a lot better looking as well. And obviously, he's probably 15 years older than me. So those are two of the people that I've heard I look like. There was another one who was from Catalonia, and he's a politician, but I can't remember his name. Let me look it up. Catalan politician. Okay, it's none of these guys. He's younger. Let's see if we can find him. And this is an example of how natural all of these podcasts are, because I'm just going about my business, looking things up randomly, but I can't seem to find him. He's none of these people. I know who these are, but it's none of them. So if anybody's watching this and you can think of the young Catalan politician who apparently I look like, let me know in the comments once again. And let's keep going from there. And my next question is, which feature do you tend to pay most attention to? Because I think everybody, when you meet new people, we tend to focus and concentrate on certain things. For some people, your teeth is really, really important. And, well, I agree. I think it's nice to have a nice smile. To be honest, my teeth, they could be whiter, and they're a little bit crooked. They're a bit crooked, you know? They're not that straight. I probably should have had braces when I was a teenager, but I chose not to. But for many people, they pay a lot of attention to your teeth, or at least your smile. And for other people, I heard this week in class, they pay a lot of attention to your eyes. Because by looking in someone's eyes, you can more or less tell if the other person is friendly or not. You can guess if they are a nice person or not. I'm not sure about that, to be honest, because, you know, as they say, don't judge a book by its cover. So, I don't know if you can tell if somebody is a nice person just by looking in their eyes. Because don't judge a book by its cover. Don't judge someone based on their appearance. Now, before we wrap up and before we finish off this podcast, once again, let me know in the description if you think I look like anybody or if you have any celebrity lookalikes. But I started the podcast by telling you 5 words which describe your appearance in a very advanced way. Let's recap. The first one is the holes that you have around your cheeks when you smile. In English, these are dimples. Dimples. You have dimples when you smile. Number 2. These are the spots that you might have around your nose, your cheeks, perhaps your forehead, that tend to show up in spring and summer when you're outside sunbathing. These are freckles. They are freckles. And number 3, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, was the lines that you have as you get older. In my case, I have lots here around my forehead, and they are wrinkles. Wrinkles. But no, that wasn't the word. I've just remembered. Well, you have a new word. The word was this shadow that is like not beard, but almost beard. It's a beard after 2 or 3 days. In English, this is stubble. Stubble. So if you see me tomorrow or the day after, you'll see that I will have stubble. Then, if somebody takes a photo of you and they're like below you, it's very common that you're gonna see your double chin. Your chin, but double. You know, this little bit of fat and skin. But last and not least, I have a big where I swallow. You can see it rises and falls. This is called an Adam's apple. I have an Adam's apple. And that's it, folks. That's it for this week's podcast, the British English Pod. This week, speaking all about describing people, both their appearance and their personality. I've reviewed some different words and phrases and expressions. Hopefully, you've learned a thing or two. And as I mentioned, if you'd like to try out my classes, there is a link in the description. So thank you so much for watching or listening. I love you lots, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!